Happy President's Day, everyone. Cheers. We're getting started late. I wanted to get to this 44 minutes ago. But hey, it's almost 9. We're going to run maybe until 10. We're working on Nubia. We're going to get this. We're going to hit it with some microns. I haven't figured out the color yet. Just sometimes I pre-visualize the color. Like there'll be like a tone or an attitude, even just colors I'm obsessed with. Right, like it's I'm not really seeing it too much with this one. Maybe pink, maybe just going like with a hardcore pink highlight all the way down. But cheers. Got some iced coffee. Let's just get into it. Let's just rock and roll. Let's kick some butt. Let's effing draw, because that's what we're here for. Not going to start with anything too particular. Maybe her like earrings here. We're starting with the earrings just so we can figure out how good our pen here, our micron pen. Now, keep in mind, I normally only like the ink with crow quill pens, but a lot of times when I'm live, I do like to kind of experiment. I like to mess around. I like to do things that I'm not familiar with or even that I don't like. And that's just a part of getting better, being an artist, being aware of what your weak spots are. And yeah, we're working on Nubia though for Black History Month. How cool is that? We will also be dropping a Nubia video on her graphic novel, Nubia, Queen of the Amazon by DC Comics. And Nubia's history is it's like it's almost like being written in real time. She's not storied in comics. She was featured in the 70s, limited appearances until the modern day. And I love transitions like that when it comes to characters. I love kind of when comic book history is mined and used for all kinds of different purposes. And sometimes it's just for sales and content and like new effing characters. And why not? Like, why not go hard into your creative catalog, we'll call it, and find something new? And I know a lot of people, a lot of you out there, a lot of you AKAPADers, you're obsessed with new characters, and so am I. But it's good when characters really kind of get mined, they get used, because it also brings attention to the creators. And a lot of these creators for these characters passed away. They're no longer with us, and we kind of say thank you to them as well for their contributions. And I think that's important. I really do. Nubia is war-torn in this depiction as well. She is, again, warrior princess, warrior goddess. I'm not sure, like, I don't know enough about the character, if the character has super strength or superpowers, if she really is a opposite of Wonder Woman or a contemporary of Wonder Woman. Am I on? Yeah. Yahoo! Troll, what's up, dude? Troll, you better be drawing, buddy. You better be drawing. Cheers to you. Thanks a million. Happy President's Day. Troll, who's your favorite president? Do you have a top three? I have a top three. Oh, 546. Dude, I love it. Early riser. Dude, I prefer early work and early rising more than anything. What I actually prefer is staying up all night into an early morning and getting as little sleep as possible. That's my method. But dude, I didn't realize you were West Coast, but awesome, dude. Awesome for joining me, dude. I appreciate it. But yeah, we're working on Nubia here, and today, let me just grab it. Let me just grab it, cause I do feel like it's important for some documentation and a little bit of my story. So later today, we're going to be dropping the Nubia Queen of the Amazons. This is a DC hardback. This feels like it's 3 issues, but actually it's like 5, just like the paperweight alone. And yeah, jumping into really a character I'm not familiar with, something I wouldn't normally buy. Happened to get this. It being 50% off did help, right? Spent $12 for it versus 24. This is a video dropping today, and the other video is going to be how Marvel Studios screwed over Brian Coogler for Wakanda Forever. So that's going to be a little bit of a hybrid video. That's going to be part action figure review, part narration, part of my normal stuff. So we got some stuff happening. We're doing a lot. I want today though to be a really big drawing day for me. I really need a big drawing day. The weekend again, like no joke, legit got away from me. And even yesterday, like we kind of, head out to this Mexican place called Rosie's that has like the absolute best corn dip you can imagine. And that kind of led into going to University City in Philly, which is college town, one of many college towns in Philly, by the way. And we kind of, just got caught up there. And next thing you know, it's coming home. It's almost 10 o'clock. And again, for the second night in a row, I just crash out almost right away. And that's unacceptable for me. It really is. So, but I do feel well rested at least. And, was able to kind of wake up, get things going. Had to deal with a work situation too as soon as I woke up. Not a situation, a question. I get a lot of questions in my day-to-day just cause I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with documentation, so I kind of always have the answers on things that people forget. But love you, troll buddy. Here we go. As long as we have her eye, right? And we will be doing, me, myself, and the AKA Pad Army will be doing some coloring today. And we will take this as far as it can go. Sometimes we don't take it as far as we want, just so you know. Because of different reasons, things pop up. I still have to work her right eye. Gotta work that a little bit here. I don't know. I just could not. I think I got her brow down. I just couldn't get her a little bit of that, like that right, that correct curve. Just couldn't do it. But yeah, we're rocking and rolling. I mean, it's so much fun getting to some of this stuff and just having all of you, eventually comment, eventually participate, eventually DM me. Yeah, like I don't mind the DMs. It's just it gets confusing for me sometimes because so many of them, and I'm not talking about a few, like almost all of them. Like the first time DMs get into my requested file, and I don't know if that's a setting in Twitter. Maybe someone can tell me that, but it seems like it's a setting in Twitter that any message that I don't already, anyone that I don't immediately message or am messaging, any DM gets into a requested, quote unquote, requested subsection of my messages. And it even drills down further into that. So there's two subsections. Oh my God. But whatever. I try and keep up with it all. So we got some like work here. We do have some trouble spots. We still kind of have to figure out her crown, stuff like that. We got a lot of work to do here. But yeah, like the goal is to make her look as BAD as possible. Like we kind of want her to be a standout almost. We just want her to look a little bit rough. And yes, she will have like the 90s sheen, all the 90s sparkles, reflective as a mother effer. And the reason for that is things look cool when they're shiny. They just do. But progress is happening. I get so excited when I see progress in any drawing, anything that I work on. I'm just like beside myself. I just love it. I love seeing things come to life. I love ideas. Like I went through a good chunk of, and I'm talking like when I mean go through, I mean initial Google search. Okay, Google image search, nothing crazy, but I went through a lot of what Google was providing for this character, and I didn't see a lot of her looking rough, like looking Amazonian, looking warrior, looking mean. So here we go. That's what we do here. Sometimes we take the regular and we crank it up. And I will always use, and eventually I'm going to just collect them all. I'm just going to get like a whole collection of them off of eBay. But there was this Star Wars, maybe around the time of the Clone Wars, like whatever year that movie came out. But it was like, I'm pretty sure it was Attack of the Sith, because there's a fighting Yoda one. I'm pretty sure that depicts a scene from Revenge of the Sith, not Attack of the Sith. But it was like this PVC toy line. Yeah, like you could buy it in like your neighborhood toy store, and it was called like Star Wars Unleashed. And I guess the presentation of the toy line echoed the format of what McFarlane Toys was doing at the time. These were they were pretty much PVC plastic statues, but they were called Star Wars Unleashed, and their depictions of the characters were just kind of like 90s style extreme, like really over the top, really aggressive, angry looking, overly sexualized, like all of it, everything today that people would label as a bad thing. But that toy line or that action figure PVC statue line, however you want to classify it, was so impactful just with the idea of it. Like, and I was old enough when those came out to kind of just realize what they were doing and why it worked. And I kind of want to say I'm not too sure how well they were received or how well they resonated. I just know that eventually the Han Solo one and the Chewbacca one got clearance, and for the longest time you could find those ones on clearance. But there's an awesome Slave Leia one. There's an awesome Luke Skywalker, Jedi Luke one, and this was back also when when Star Wars had the original trilogy had a mystique. It had like a glare. But those freaking toy lines were so awesome. They really were. Here we go. See, I'm kind of deviating now, but I really like doing the beveled images. I like doing the metallic stuff. I just think it helps crystallize the work. Just gets it going. Yeah, dude. Believe it or not, is it here? Dude, I have a Magnolia stack. I've been wanting to do one because where is it? Hold up here. Where is it? Okay, can't find it, but yeah, I definitely have a Magnolia stack coming that will be around Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that release, because we're going to do his Rocket Raccoon miniseries from the 80s, and then we're going to do Cosmic Odyssey. We're going to, I have a collection of his covers, mostly from the 90s, from, Marvel Comics Presents, Quasar, a lot of his, again, forgotten work, okay? And it's only forgotten because time moves on and Hellboy took over his entire career. And we're not really going to focus too much on like X-Force number 7 or 8 that Rob Liefeld did the layouts for. And there's a couple other books that he touched that are well worth a conversation. It's just I have to figure out the best way to roll it out and present it because Mike Mignola, as incredible as he is, and I love his solutions to layouts. Okay, I'll say layout, like not paneling, but layouts. And I just have to figure out the best way to present that because, again, Mike Mignola, if I did a great covers Mike Mignola video, I don't think that's going to get a lot of traction. And that's frustrating because I think those videos should be epic. Those videos should get 10,000 views, but they don't, and they won't, because people. It's weird. It's weird how people work. But yeah, I am a lot of what I do. Like, I wouldn't say emulates Magnola, but at the same time, it kind of echoes. And I'll keep calling it solutions. Like what his solutions were to, like for example, why do we have updates here? Yeah, like for example, do I even have a blank piece of paper? Look, I'm looking for a blank, and I cannot. Why can't I find a blank piece of paper? Give me 1 second here. We can reach right here. Yeah, so Magnola is important because we'll do a quick lesson. We'll do a quick lesson to how Mike Magnola works. And keep in mind, I got none of his work in front of me. We get the cover, right? Boom. Okay, like title, trade dress. There might be some copy down here. Okay, this is what Mike Magnola does. He'll triangulate from here, or like from here, or a combination. Okay, and then what he basically does, like if we have an object, let's just say we have a guy, like right here, like standing. Okay. And let's just say we have like another object here. We'll just do like another person. Like this, okay? And let's say we just have two figures. What he'll do is he'll either add, and you see this a lot with me. He'll add some type of like smoke or mist. He'll put them on a mound. But what he does, that's important. And this is where people confuse. They confuse the Rob Liefeld stuff with this, where Rob Liefeld doesn't draw feet. Neither does but if that's your standard, if that's your perception, neither does Magnola, neither does guys like Mark Silvestri, who are heavily influenced by what I'm about to show you. And the reason for that, so what he'll do is, like, let's just say we take the shading and we'll fade it into the ground. We'll fade it into the mist, okay? Like this. That's what Magnola does. He does it so well. And here he might add, it might be all black. It might be a solid color. So now there's a layout graphic design element that most people completely, I'm not joking, they completely miss this. And what this does though, see, like here, for example, like you can kind of draw like a city. And you can fade the city. You can fade the buildings, the windows, and you fade them even here. So these are heavier lines and they will break up. Or if they're solids, like here, they will break up. And what this does, it creates an optical illusion for the eye, because we're creating depth and distance with the fading. We're getting multiple layers of fading, meaning foreground, middle ground, background, all the way background. And it makes it more realistic, makes it more believable. It tricks the eye for it being satisfactory, and it like almost like permeates in your mind. It doesn't leave your mind. It doesn't go away. And that's a lot of the Magnolia secret sauce. Rob Liefeld does it. Mark Silvestri does it. But I think today with digital art, since things are so clear and you can like zoom in, we're losing some of that. We're losing some of that optical illusion, and we're sacrificing it for wall proportion, rounded, perfectly rendered backgrounds. Okay, so that's Magnolia for you. And I think the more you look at it that way, like it takes away some of the secret sauce. Let's get back to drawing. I use a lot of those techniques, but I also use them as if they're on crack cocaine or just cocaine. Yeah. So it's you have layouts in two ways. You have layouts as a design element within the page to like make a spread, make two pages back to back, or make you make it pleasing. Layout for pleasure. And then you have layout for story design. And exactly what we're doing, like like we'll do this. We'll get this Cosmo cat. Which one of the reasons why I'm really slow with Cosmo cat is because I am dead. I'm very heavy on the layouts for this because I needed to create space and movement outside of the story and outside of the word balloons and captions. Okay. But there needed to be almost like a natural negative space, we'll call it. There needed to be a natural communication. That's layout. And if you ever notice, and sometimes I'll break my own rules, but I usually work only within the grid of the comic page. I don't do crazy layouts. And the reason for that is I'd rather focus on what's in the panel and why. And does this lead to the next and vice versa? Are we communicating everything? Panel to panel storytelling with strong layouts on the interior, that's your recipe. I really feel like there needs to be like a new generation of people that dedicate themselves to that idea and to that technique because a lot's been lost. And I do believe a lot of comics today are tougher to read optically without reading the word balloons. Your job when you're doing comic book layouts is the entire story should be communicated without word balloons. Like everything should be said. You can figure things out if you don't effing read it. If you read it, you get more detail. Okay, but it's layouts first. And there's not I offered layout services to a lot of creators that when I see their books and I read their books and get them in a variety of ways. Yeah, I I reach out to them like, hey, do you want layout artwork? I feel like that's like a weak spot. And I always get no. And I firmly believe that I can lay out someone's book and they can just go over it with their style or get another artist to work, but if you have strong layouts, like you're kind of, the work's done, like the hard work's done and you can just finish it. People don't think that way. They really don't. I think it's a lot of it's ego. A lot of it is these people kind of thinking they have all the answers. They kind of question also a subject of a upcoming video, but like if your book is such and such, it's because it sucks. And I'm going to do a video with that like pretty much as a topic, but not so much calling out other people's books. Like kind of like a general announcement type video or general almost like a best practice type video, we'll call it. But people don't, they just don't want it. They do not fathom how difficult and how much a bad layout can break the comic. It's what you should spend all of your time on as the page. Like, if you're doing the pages and you're responsible for pages as an artist or a comic book creator, all of your time should be spent on layouts. And if they're not, most likely your book will suck. Because that's the only thing you have. That's the only thing you have to tell, to communicate that story. And, you have to be aggressive. You have to put things in your layouts that you're maybe not familiar with drawing, that you don't like to draw. Which is why it's good to have someone else do them for you. Because, they might put in like a boat or a yacht. And you're going to say to yourself, like, I cannot draw boats. I don't want to draw a boat. But the layout guy is going to be like, well, the story needs it. Like, we need to communicate this. So there's a boat. Sorry. But yeah, and I don't want to say everyone's bad with that or lazy. But I do feel like, too, since we're in this like post-writer era of comics, and I say post-writer because the era of writers equally led to the destruction of American comics as the era of the artists. And the balance was never met. And the writers are to blame for these layouts, for lack of layouts, lack of layout understanding, because they rather write. They just want to write. And they're almost like robots. And they're so committed to what they're writing, they don't want anything to change. They don't want any, their scripts are gospel, and that's just, I don't know. That's a fallacy there. That's a break. That's something that we don't like. And let them, let people, even let people get more. As you would perceive, let them have a run. Let them be more successful than you. Let them do this. Let them burn out on making something mediocre. You have to, if you stay true to what that story is, and if you're honest with yourself along the way, you'll have something that's going to, it may not even sell, but it's going to stand the test of time. And you can work on different ways to get that out to people. You can use that as a different piece to collaborate, because people kind of always want to see what, the latest thing you've been working on. Being able to complete something is huge. So it's a good portfolio piece on that. And that can lend itself outside of the comics. Becoming a project manager on some level. I think these are the things that separate us. And I really do feel like there's more great books out there that are unsaid, undiscovered, forgotten than they are ones that we know of. Yeah, and that doesn't mean we don't have evergreen books and blue chip books. We do. We got, good sellers that comic shops will always have to stock for different reasons. That there's always a level of curiosity and demand for. But the idea should be to get the work out. Get the work out in the best possible way. And I didn't do any turtle soup Thursday last week. I feel like I have to make up for it. Maybe today. Uh, yeah, the Ultimates is yeah, you kind of had guys like Brian Hitch, heavy on photo reference. And it's kind of funny because Hitch is so heavy on photo reference, you can tell he's using photos. And to compare him to someone like Alex Ross, who's equally as heavy on photo reference, and it's hard to see how much it's you can see Hitch uses photos. You're not quite sure how Alex Ross uses photos at this point. We have ideas, we've seen pictures and documentaries on his process, but one of them, the photo reference completely blends into the artwork, and one of them it sticks out like a thorn. So, but a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man uses grid. There's so much of the Kubert work that's nuanced in Ultimate X-Men. I always liked what was his name? Trevor Hairsine. for his work on Ultimate Nightmare. He might have been inked by Danny Mickey, but his debris, the splatter, there's such an energy in a lot of those illustrations and panels and pages. It's freaking awesome. But the Ultimate era led into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like directly, and it's again, people forget that. I feel like part of my job with this stuff is just to remind people what they've forgotten. Because even if you watch the first Iron Man, right, like most of the Ultimate creators are there as a thank you, as a special thank you at the end of the credits. I think Iron Man and the Avengers have a lot of the same names for that reason. But I think that's good stuff. I really feel like the Ultimate era, like Marvel was better for it. Like I'll say that because I was there. That's a lot of my time when I worked at the comic shop in Jersey, where the Ultimate books and especially the Ultimate Spider-Man trade paperbacks, they could move. They you could not keep Spider-Man trade paperback, Ultimate Spider-Man 1 through 6 trade paperback in stock. People would come in, they would buy one, and they would come back and buy the rest of the stack, so to speak. And and like Ultimates, people would just get, because Ultimates relatively was 4, like 1 being split into 2 and 2 being split into 2. But it's not like Ultimates 3, the one with Joe Madura. That one never picked up, and that never really resonated. Ultimate X-Men really kind of never resonated. But Ultimate Spider-Man, 100%, and I believe it still does. I believe Ultimate Spider-Man is a little bit of a template on how you take like a real mythology and you update it, and you kind of like you try and improve it in areas. The Ultimate Venom, much better of an explanation than what Marvel has. Venom's essentially a solution for cancer that kind of, again, like goes awry. The cancer solution for Venom is exponentially more believable, better. Just like I would even argue, like more fantastic than the origin that we have now. And now Venom is such a, like he's like another everything character. Venom's connected to everything in the Marvel universe. Like, and it's just like, like he's not though. I know Donny Cates has the Venom attention, we'll call it, or the Venom hype, but it's there's a chunk of me that prefers not to have it that way. But what can I do? I'm not running Marvel Comics. Well, we're making quick work. Dare I say, we're making quick work here. Yeah, yeah, and that's you know how many kids got introduced to Ultimate Spider-Man. That first trade paperback, Marvel was so good with probably getting like the first 10 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man in people's hands. Even just like the number one issue was there has to be like 20 or 30 different versions of that Ultimate Spider-Man number one in all of its different forms. And it's blasphemy that Marvel kind of right. I mean they ignore it now. Like old they're almost like they don't push the Ultimate books like they used to. Even when it comes to uh like a library sense, like the Marvel library type stuff. It's not there. Yeah, I've seen a lot of kids get hooked on comics through Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, and that's the stuff when we talk about the health of the industry, the way things, kind of should operate when it comes to consumer habits. You don't hear that like at all. You really don't hear people um, comment exactly in that fashion or look at those. Look, they're not real data points. It's really hard to make that connection of what is data, how we collecting it, how we aggregating it, whatever. But this is more of a best practice scenario. And people that criticize or discuss comic book sales today leave that fact out. And I don't understand why or how. Like, how could you ignore creating content that the next generation is going to get addicted to and pretty much, having results for that? The Ultimate line grew Marvel Comics. It really did. And they destroyed it with multiverse nonsense. The ultimate Marvel should still be going on today. It really should. Even if they cancel the line for a little bit, bring it back, bring back original numbering. Like don't do Ultimates Volume 2 or whatever, or like a 2.0 type thing. Keep it true. But I don't think Marvel even now has the money to experiment. I just don't. I just really don't see it, and I think that's sad when it comes to stuff you want your publisher to do with their bank account. Like you kind of want your companies that you support to pay their bills, pay well, pay creators well, but then along the way, have enough in the bank for research and development and to take chances. Like take an opportunity when you have really good sales and try and like you push the industry, you push the company in a direction, you nudge it, and we just don't see that in comics right now. And you might want to say like who's to blame? Like who's to blame for this? Well, you gotta blame the companies, and you gotta blame journalism. Journalism probably is the biggest culprit because the journalism should call this stuff out, should identify it and call it out, but it doesn't. So there, yeah, and there's credibility to journalism, so they are important. Yeah, he's. I don't think Bagley's. Look, even for January, I didn't have Bagley as one of my Spider-Man creators. Yeah, I did Dicko, McFarlane, and Romita Jr. I left out Bagley and Larson. Larson for different reasons, but because he's a loon. But Bagley is, yeah, he's there. Like, he's institutionalized. He's uh like the longest, the most consistent Spider-Man artist like ever. Like, he's just, he kind of like drew that character so much nobody wanted to see him draw Spider-Man anymore. Like, people were just done with him post Ultimate. And that's fair. That is fair. But he's got great versions, great eras. Like, again, like, he came in, really rose up during the 90s. Like, just a lot of that heat and his era, the era that he was a part of for Spider-Man. I call it the massive team up era, where like every issue Spider-Man, he was teaming up with Night Thrasher or Rage or like who's that? There's Night Thrasher, but then there's like another skateboard guy. What the hell's his name? I forget his name. I'm forgetting. Brain. He's yellow. What is that dude's name? He might be like Street Border. He has like a weird name too. Silver Sable, and that's a lot of the era of Spider-Man that I connected to, where they were still doing like the villain of the month. You had multiple Spider-Man titles like going at the same time, and like there was just always something happening in those books. New villains, new team ups, and he wasn't a part of the Avengers. And when they put Spider-Man on the Avengers, that's where they, I would call that they broke the character, because he should never be. That doesn't mean he can't have a adventure with the Avengers, but he should never be a part of the Avengers. Like, he's actually like admired from afar by guys like Captain America. Like, Captain America admires like the grit and the heart of Spider-Man. And it's not, even though like that can work both ways storyline wise, but like even like guys like Wolverine like see something in Spider-Man, and that's a lot of what the 90s animated show touched on. They kind of touched on Spider-Man being this entity that even like inspired the gods, and like all the Madam Web stuff in the 90s animated series was really good with touching on that. Yeah, I do. Look, I prefer right here. Look, I keep them next to me. I run 3 at a time for different reasons. The crow quills, you kind of have to work with the metal. You have to get the metal kind of bent the right way. But I do prefer crow quills. Like if you want to compare real quick, Troll. So, we have this blood pack cover that I've been kind of chipping away at. But what I'm doing with the microns, I'm emulating what I do with the crow quills. And there's different quality in the line work, meaning one's a little bit more exact, less scratchy, more lines, a little bit more movement with the debris and energy, like the chunks But yeah, I got to the point where like the two overlap. And I could probably, if I was pressed for a time situation, I could probably grab some of my comic pages and microns and ink them almost in the exact same way, and it would be a little tougher to distinguish the two. Like as of like a book if you're flipping through it. But I try and like I maintain my materials. Like if I start a project or like a series of drawings with micron, we stick to micron. And then if it's usually the comic book published production artwork is Crow Quill. Yeah, look, a part of my desire to do this is just to kind of do exactly that, to find just like new ways to maybe do things and be live. I think that's so freaking cool. I really do. Again, it gets me excited. Alexa, stop. Sorry, I set the alarm. I set a 1 hour alarm when I sat down to do this. Yeah, and I think that's important. I think when you get to a point with anything, and I don't even care if you're working at like a Target, and if you do things at a Target that can help other people that you work with, you better find ways to teach them. Like you better find ways to share that insight and that knowledge, because you can translate that. Like once you break that down for yourself and you communicate it, like that's a skill that a lot of people don't have. They're not aware that they should have it, sort of thing. So you have to exercise it, and you have to find ways to almost like work that muscle and develop that muscle. No different than doing squats. When you realize you have, weak looking legs, get in the gym and fucking squat. Like, what do you want? And a lot of these other, like, let's just call them like business muscles, like business process management, project management, knowing what procurement is. Again, popular term now, supply chain. A lot of this stuff helps you with your art. It helps you with being more versatile, more independent, more useful to people, period. Like there's no other way around it. And, I used a lot of my opportunities. Now, given too, I put myself in situations in a lot of different ways to have like, to be like in the right rooms, we'll say, for different reasons. None of them involving artwork, but in the right rooms to learn. And, I spent a chunk of my life with that attitude. Like I'm never afraid to freaking learn, or I'm great to work with because I'm pretty good at admitting when I forget something, when I screw up, when I miscommunicate something. I'm pretty good at owning up and moving on relatively fast. And the reason for that is, look, it saves time. And when you realize that, you become like a great person to work with. So a lot of times when it comes to freelancing, and again, like some of these up and coming publishers, they find me on all kinds of way on social media. When they're not straight with me for different reasons, and they kind of not, like they don't do work, and they're not, like we'll call it, like they're not good publishers, they're not good project managers, and I become vocal in some areas from time to time. That's how we lose relationships and clients and things like that. But I have requirements. I have ways that I like to work. I have things I like to have communicated. There's things that I like to know. And sometimes, like I just want to do the work and stay out of all the other stuff. Like I even want to stay out of promotion sometimes. because these guys don't value promotion. They don't value what I can do for a project and how I can promote it. They're lackadaisical. They're not aggressive. They're lazy on a lot of levels. So I just say, like, fuck it. Like, you do it your way then. Like, do it your way. That, you know, like, good luck. Great working with you. Hope the book does well type stuff. And it's tough, you know. But there's been other times where I wanted to promote more and I just wasn't in a rhythm. Well, you know, we'll say that. Wasn't in a rhythm to really promote too well. But now I think with 2023, we're in, you know, we're kind of where we were in 2021. Because 2022 was an absolute motion blur for me. It really was. There was so much happening. A lot of it was the 9 to 5. Yeah, a lot of the company that I work with, one of them, we'll call it the big fish, transformed, and there was just a lot of catching up to do, like a lot. So. All right, we're going to call it. I know it's been 1 hour. I always want to do more, but it's 10 o'clock. I want to drop a video. I got comic pages to jump on. So just hang tight, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. I love you.